Okay, I give up. Let's talk about politics. Hello, my friends. I'm Professor Hans von Puppet. So here we are 2 weeks into this government shutdown and 1 week into Obamacare, or at least 1 week since the new insurance exchanges have opened. You probably already know what's going on, or at least you think you do, but here are the facts as I understand them. The Affordable Care Act, also known as Obamacare, passed the House of Representatives and the Senate and was signed by the President into law in 2010, over 3.5 years ago. Passed, done, it's the law. Okay? In the ensuing 3 years, the Republicans in Congress have tried and failed to repeal it something like 40 times. Seems to be demonstrably a waste of time, but that is their right as congresspeople. Also, during that 3 years, President Obama got re-elected, beating Mitt Romney, who ran on a platform of very little besides a promise to repeal Obamacare. So now, 2 weeks ago, the Republican-controlled House of Representatives passed a continuing resolution, a temporary budget to fund the government temporarily until they can pass a new budget, and in it, they funded everything in the government but, guess what, the Affordable Care Act. This, of course, was not passed by the Senate, which is controlled by Democrats, and would have been vetoed by the president anyway. If you don't know how bills and laws and vetoes and all that work, I recommend looking at the U.S. Constitution or Schoolhouse Rock. They are both quite accurate. One is slightly more entertaining. I will let you decide which. The Senate sent back a clean bill that funded everything, which might even pass the House of Representatives, but Speaker of the House John Boehner refuses to put it to a vote unless Obama agrees to defund or at least partially cripple Obamacare, which he has guaranteed he would never do since it was all passed good and proper like, you know. The current continuing resolution expired, so as of 2 weeks ago, there is no budget for the government and it's unfunded. So certain parts of it, which are deemed to be, what's the word they used? Non-crucial? What was it? Optional? I don't know. But NASA, a bunch of departments and national parks, they've closed down, you know, they're shut. You can't go to Yellowstone. And it's going to cost us a lot to clean up this mess once it's all settled. It's incredibly destructive and pointless, but it's nothing compared to what happens next week when the Republicans are threatening to hold the raising of the debt ceiling hostage in their latest tantrum to try to defund Obamacare. That means America, the United States of America, would default on its obligation to its debtors all over the world. Now, since it's called the debt ceiling, you might get the impression that since debt is arguably bad, we should keep the ceiling, you know, right where it is. But it's really just a name. They used to raise the debt ceiling all the time with all of this fuss. It's just a piece of fiscal bookkeeping that allows the world economy to function. It is just because the Yankee dollar is such a strong and dependable currency that the other countries around the world want to invest in it. And if we default on these obligations by not raising the debt limit, you see, we're going to look like a bunch of assholes. So hopefully John Boehner finds some way to give in to the law as passed without losing too much face and stops being the puppet of the suicide caucus of Tea Party zealots. Now, don't tell me, oh, but Hans, Obamacare is terrible, it's socialized medicine, it's got death panels, they're going to make a scary Mardi Gras Uncle Sam put his fingers in my colon. Oh, the right-wing propaganda on this has been downright shocking. I could do a whole other video about what Obamacare is and what it isn't, and maybe I will. Would you like something like that? But I'm running out of time here. How can I simply put this? Under the Affordable Care Act, the government is providing no more health care than it was before. All the health insurance in these insurance exchanges is from private companies. They tried to have a public option for people who wanted it, but guess what? It did not pass. You see, the president doesn't feel the need to keep compromising on this legislation since he made so many compromises to get it passed in the first place. And I agree. All Obamacare does is make all the health insurance providers be on one same website. So now they have to compete openly for your business, which is good because it will make the prices go down. And the government will also subsidize the people who cannot afford it. The result of all this is dramatically lower costs for you with no penalty threat of denial for pre-existing conditions. That's it. That's all it is. No socialized medicine, no death panels, no Mardi Gras Uncle Sam with his hand in your pooper, okay? And if you already got health insurance, whether it's from your job or your union or Medicare, nothing is changing for you. Surprise! All the Affordable Care Act does is make your health care slightly more affordable. Okay? For some people, a lot more affordable. Okay, before before you start writing angry comments, I did leave out a key part of this. It's part of the law now that everybody is supposed to buy some health insurance, which makes sense. With more people in the insurance pool, the costs for everybody are dramatically lower. But if you don't want it, they're not going to come to your house in a black helicopter and arrest you, you conspiracy nut. You just have to pay a little fine on your taxes. It's like $90 or something, kind of like a big parking ticket. And that'll still cost you a lot less than the insurance. But then again, you don't get any insurance, so there you are.